Should police stop investigating social media posts? 0207 862 2222 is the number. The Conservative Party leader, Kemi Badenoch, wants to ban police looking into and recording non-crime hate incidents. So incidents where offensive but not criminal views are expressed towards people about their race, religion or gender. She says it's a waste of police time and that police would rather see officers on the street fighting crime. At the moment, police record these incidents and the Home Office argues it allows them to monitor behaviour that could escalate into something more serious. What do we think about this, guys? Because so often when something serious does happen, when we see a hate crime, Peter, then it comes to light that police had information earlier that they didn't act on. Here is the kind of information that could give a profile of someone that's about to do something much more serious.
Or perhaps not. Thanks to some lamentable guidelines handed down by the College of Policing and a lack of guidance and common sense from the National Police Chiefs Council and more, the police have got themselves in a dreadful tangle over this. The simplistic answer is, if it's not crime, what on earth are the police doing with it? But of course, you see, the modern police, with their overreach, have suddenly decided that they will police free speech. Whereas really, if they're ever to get involved in free speech, they should be protecting it and not policing it. What we need, social media companies, get your own house in order. With your algorithms and your AI, they can monitor their platforms quite simply.
So they should be policing free speech?
Absolutely. No, they should be policing their platforms. They should
but
be
if it's not criminal, how are they going to take action?
No, for criminal behaviour. That's what they should be looking for on their platforms, criminal behaviour. For example, people exchanging messages about how to create a bomb, for example, and such like, and inciting people to hurt people or damage property, both of which, of course, are clearly criminal. That's what the social media platforms should be doing, and the police should largely focus on policing. But they haven't. They think they're a social service. They think they should police free speech these days, and that is why confidence in the police is tanking.
Paula, I mean, very quickly, we're talking about pre-crime here, aren't we? This is dystopian, where we're starting to investigate people for things they might do rather than what they have done.
Can I just say, I'm very cynical about what we're hearing today from Kemi Badenoch and Chris Philp. Bearing in mind, it is the anniversary of Stephen Lawrence's killing today, and that we have this opinion in the Telegraph from Chris Philp, who's the Shadow Home Secretary. My answer to this question very quickly is, should the police stop investigating social media? No. And there are a long list of reasons why, principally because we are told that much intelligence gathering, of course, needs to take place because it helps to build a picture. And that is part of the non-crime hate incidences that we know
and it all
take place.
started because of Stephen Lawrence.
It did.
Because
The
of what we
McPherson
know
report.
about that. OK,
Yeah.
well, listen, thank you, guys, but don't go anywhere. We're going to be taking your calls on this after the break. Should police stop investigating social media posts? Should they stop looking into offensive comments being made online and get back to fighting real crime on the streets? Let me know. Straight back to your calls. Should the police stop investigating hurtful comments made online? It's what the Conservative leader, Kemi Badenoch, wants. She says it takes up too much of their time. Officers would be much better off back on the streets. Do you agree with her? Get your calls in now. Already loads coming in. Sam's in London. What do you reckon, Sam? Is it worth checking out these offensive tweets and Facebook posts if it means we stop crime in the future?
Yes, 100%. People have to remember that they're not policing people's opinions, they're policing crimes. A lot of the people that are prosecuted for things that they would be arrested for if they said face-to-face in real life. I think that people are emboldened by things that they do online. Times have changed, crime has changed, and a lot of it is moved online, and there needs to be a police presence there that serves as a strong deterrent.
What about free speech, Sam? If people are stopped from saying things that are offensive but not criminal, then where does that stop? Can we say anything for the risk of it ending up on our police record, on our criminal record?
But you can't do that face-to-face. So my point is, online is an extension of the real world. It is the real world. So why would I want the quote-unquote freedom to say something online that I wouldn't say to someone's face.
Because
I can still give
people
my
are easily
opinion.
offended. People are easily offended. People are offended by things that we can't even imagine when we say them. So
People are
if
easily offended,
offence,
but people are not.
if offence
But
is
people are not
taken as the
easily
new
arrested.
as offence is taken as the new threshold rather than a criminal offence, then it's hard for you to know when you have overstepped the mark because you can't imagine what people are feeling.
No, I've got friends and family in the force. People are not being arrested because somebody's feelings are hurt. People are being arrested for when they've actually overstepped and they've actually broken the law.
Not true.
That's what people are being arrested for.
Fundamentally not true, Sam. Take the case of Alison Pearson, for example, who had the police turning up at her doorstep for absolutely no
But was she
criminal reason
arrested?
whether.
I accept she was investigated,
There are a
but
number
was she
of,
arrested?
there are
encourage them to burn people alive in a hotel.
There are another of other people who have been arrested and who have spent time in police cells for having committed no crime whatsoever, but they've said stuff that the police didn't like.
I'm struggling with that.
In the middle of the riot, Alison encouraged people to commit violence.
No, inciting somebody to commit a crime is, of course, a crime in itself. But there are many cases of people who have not committed any crime whatsoever, have merely said something that flaky, fluffy, wokey people don't like the sound of, and they run off to the police and make a complaint about it.
Is there a cumulative
Please name
effect?
one, because you've named one who broke the law and encouraged violence in the middle of riots. So please name one.
Yeah, what about that couple from Hertfordshire who got locked up after they'd written unpleasant remarks about the teacher
88
recruitment
emails.
process?
I think it was 88 emails.
They still hadn't committed any crime.
But that could
they
be considered
did not
as
commit a
intimidation,
crime.
harassment or pestering.
They did
and it
not
was
commit a crime.
It was
No crime.
investigated. It was
No
investigated and found no crime.
was
Can I just say, and it's
No
really
crime.
important, because Peter said, breaching my right to freedom of speech. This is why I'm cynical. This is not about protecting your right to freedom of speech. Matt, if you want to hate me, you can hate me all you want. There is nothing against the law for us to hate each other. What is against the law is if you are hostile in terms of that hatred towards me, or if you behave in a way that is hostile in relation to your hatred of me. And if it is the case that people are being arrested when there is no crime, then quite properly after the investigation they should be set free, whatever, NFA'd the matter.
And compensated.
And the matter NFA'd. Absolutely. Because this isn't me disagreeing with you, Peter, to say that the police should go along and do things that they don't like. It is about an offence being committed. In terms of the non-crime hatred, what we are looking at here, Matt, is instances where there is insufficient evidence to make a finding that a criminal offence occurred, to say to the CPS, look, we need to pursue a prosecution here. That happens all the time in relation to a myriad of offences. I'm cynical because we are focusing on hate crime. That's why I'm cynical.
Police forces themselves have admitted they don't know whether these NCHIs, non-criminal hate offences, actually help them prosecute crime. So the forces themselves are saying this doesn't help us in terms of even supporting evidence, I imagine, from what they're saying. That's what you're saying, right? Is that further down the line, it's like, well, look, we have a pedigree, we have a history of someone behaving this way, which supports an eventual prosecution. Forces are saying that's not happening.
Forces are saying that they haven't done the research to make that finding yet. But what I'm saying to you is that happens in terms of all intelligence gathering in relation to any crime. What I'm concerned about is the fact that Kemi Badenoch and Chris Philp are suggesting that this is an attack on your freedom of speech. It's not an attack on your freedom of speech.
I wonder whether the defining line is when it ends up on your criminal record, when you carry it around with you afterwards.
It matters.
I want to take more calls, Pete. Sorry to cut you off. Jenny's in Norwich. Jenny, what do you think? Is Kemi Badenoch right about this? It shouldn't even be investigated.
No, I completely disagree. Just saying to your researcher that just lately, last week before, maybe that I was like personally affected by blooming Katie Hopkins of all people. Cannot stand her, but I freedom of speech and all that. But when I'm an amputee, below knee amputee, and she made a TikTok about how basically fake gagging amputees about how they're all over the BBC. You can't turn the TV on without them being all over the BBC. and how it's disgusting, and basically telling us we need to hide our stump because she finds it gross.
Okay.
The thing is, I've grown up with a limb difference my entire life. I had my leg amputated on the 12th of November 2020. And I was bullied really, really badly. And I can have a laugh and a joke about my stump, but at the end of the day, it's not what she's saying. Is that not ableism and encouraging people to basically hate against a group of people, essentially, and mock us and laugh at us? I mean, I can laugh, I can make jokes about my stump, and there's 3 things that I insist people don't call me. Everything else is fair game. But when you have children on TikTok and people that aren't okay with it, that you're very, very insecure about it, and you see somebody like that, this 50-odd-year-old woman saying that, go on, we can laugh about it,
So,
Jenny,
Jenny, I can absolutely understand how you would be offended by those comments. Does it make you feel in fear of your life or your safety? Because that's what we're saying here, is that we need to nip this in the bud or recognise it, because it will lead to a crime further down the line, the incitement of that crime. So do you feel unsafe as a result of those things?
I mean, potentially, yeah. All it takes is for one person to use that as an excuse to go after you, don't it?
But they're not. Joanne, you can swerve the content of somebody who's as obnoxious as her. You don't have to listen to her or watch her. Just block it out. Don't go looking for it, and don't listen to it. I've never heard a word that she's ever said.
I didn't go looking for it because I'm an amputee and I use a lot of the hashtags. They were coming up. Every other one was coming up on my FYP. So it's like, okay, another one, and there's only so many times. I mean, I've come off TikTok for a little bit because it was that intense. Right. So I am doing everything I can to ignore it.
Is it easy to ignore these things when you're not the one affected? And when Jenny actually feels in fear of her life or safety when she's stepping out, because there is this opinion, it feels like, gathering against her because of one person's words. Isn't that exactly what we should be stopping before it happens, rather than wait for it to happen?
What that person said was clearly very unpleasant, obnoxious. But as the way it was packaged up by the caller, it didn't appear that any laws had been broken. So it's very easy to manage your own social media. You don't have to be a slave to the algorithms. You don't have to use hashtags. Just make sure you do not digest any of the content of damaging people like that. It's really quite easy to do.
I wonder if that's easier said than done. Listen, thank you so much, and thank you to Jenny and all of our callers.